Are we headed for a disaster? Is humanity plummeting towards running out of resources due to the ever-growing population? Let's have a look. Hi guys, my name's Ben. I'm a long-time maths and science educator and I'm a numbers guy. So when I see numbers, I see a story. And sometimes those stories are a bit confusing, a bit hard to decipher. So I'm here to make sense of the numbers for you guys and show you what they're telling us. So what are we seeing? If we look at Worldometer's population clock, we can see that the world's population is growing about 15 people every minute, which over a year is enough to add another country like Italy or France to the population every year. Back in 2014, a study predicted that the population would reach 11 billion by 2100. Now that would be 50% more than was around in 2014. Is that still the case? Let's have a look at the numbers and find out. So, in 1927 there was only 2 billion people on the planet. By 1974 we got up to 4 billion. By 1999 we're at 6 billion. And around 2022 we clocked over 8 billion people. And that line just keeps going up. Who knows where it's going to go? Actually we do, because in about 2018 there was an inflection, which means that the chart actually stopped curving up and started curving back down. It's hard to see, but if you zoom in enough you can see that there's just a slight change there in the graph. Let's see what the numbers tell us about that. Now, as you can see here, the number of people that were being added to the world every year was up to around 90 million people back in 1990, and it peaked again also in 2015 at about 88 million, but since then it has actually reduced a bit. But that's not the whole story, that's just the actual amount. If we look at the rate of growth, it tells us a bit more. So the rate of growth tells an even more interesting story, because back in 1980 it was about 1.8% growth every year, but that has decreased fairly steadily since then to be down to about 0.9% growth. That's halved in just 40 years. So that's interesting. If we extrapolate from that with the dotted line, we find that we get to zero growth rate between 2045 and 2050. Could this happen? That's very interesting. And so now when we apply that growth rate to the population we have now and look at where it goes over the next 30 or 40 years, we find that we actually only end up peaking at about 9 billion people by 2050, which is 2 billion less than what they'd forecast only a decade ago. So that's a much better picture than we had 10 years ago. It does look like the population is going to peak, only 9 billion, 2 billion short of what we thought. That's a good situation, and I hope people who are a little bit nervous about the population situation on the planet might be a little bit put at ease by that. Now in the next video we're going to have a look at how we know that this isn't just short term and will be sustained in the long term. Make sure you subscribe so that you'll get that video as soon as it's out. Cheers everyone, bye.